Okay, we're live. Let's check some things.
Athletes everywhere, including myself, swear by it.
All right. So we're good. You guys are all here. Can you guys say something real quick? Let me just check the voice. Anyone?
Hello.
Something? All right, perfect. Okay.
Hello.
Okay. That was extra loud. All right. Let's see. All right, welcome guys to a Diplo stream. I think we just talked about this actually in private, but the purpose of this is just to have non-Diplo players, or not, I don't know how to word this right. Basically, players that don't really know exactly what happens in Diplo, kind of shed some light on it. You know, from the KVK that you're queuing for, having an idea who you're probably going to match up with, to actually linking up, discussing like how everything goes down, some best practices, what has worked, what hasn't worked. I am going to be pretty strict about this one, where if there's anything that's just like going on in chat that's kind of toxic, I'll just move it from the chat in the channel. And obviously, for the guests that are on, we're not going to talk about any specific kingdom in a negative light. Positive light, we'll definitely do that. Okay, so we have 4 people. We have 3 people on right now. Maybe Nikki will join us, but we have Nugget, who is one of the kings in 2268. Black Panther, I think you guys are pretty familiar with him. He does a lot of actually I didn't realize how much Panther did, right? He does recruiting, but apparently he actually is also pretty big in the Diplo. So then we have Jackie, who is a king of a newer kingdom. Okay, so starting out, let's introduce you guys. We'll have Nugget go first. Just quick about yourself, your experience with Diplo. You know, just like when did you get involved with it? What your experience is, and then we'll just go from there.
Okay. So I've been in 4 kingdoms, and I did Diplo for 2 of them. So in a C kingdom, and then now in 2268, mainly because I'm the king that I joined Diplo. Not because I'm like Panther, who likes smoozing as much as that, but definitely. So
Smooth.
probably, yeah, you know, anyone who knows Panther knows what I mean.
Yeah, yeah. When Panther wants to make you feel like $1,000,000, he does a really good job of making you feel like $1,000,000.
Yeah, I've done it in 2 different kingdoms.
Okay.
So.
Okay, and then what would you say your style is? You like to focus on the numbers? Like what is your what do you focus on in Diplo?
Oh, I'm a stats person, so I'm gonna look at the stats, figure out generally, and we'll get to this later, but do the stats ahead of time so we kind of have the numbers before Diplo even starts. I'm like that person to give the information to the other ones that are doing Diplo with us, and then in chat, I'm generally the most blunt person probably there. Just put the stats out there to show what it looks like.
Okay.
So yeah.
Hey, this side is this power, this side is this power. This is probably fair, right? Like,
yeah.
Whatever you just said, that's not fair by KP, something like that.
Yep.
Okay.
So
I actually prefer that. Okay. Okay. All right. Cool. So 4 kingdoms. You've done Diplo for 2 kingdoms. How many KVKs? I don't know if I missed that.
How many KVKs have I done?
Yeah, for Diplo.
Probably 1, 2, 7? 7 maybe?
Oh, 7? Okay. Were you like,
yeah.
Was there like nervousness the first time just because you don't know what to expect, or how did
I wasn't nervous.
Go?
I wasn't nervous in my first kingdom because it was like lower seeds. But like this kingdom, the first time that we did Diplo was a little nerve-wracking with the first time I did Diplo anyways, was a little nerve-wracking with Imperium status kingdoms. That was a little
Okay, just feeling like you're a smaller kingdom and then trying to okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, next one, we're gonna skip over Nikki, who's taking a nap. All right, let's go to Panther. Same thing. How many? What's your experience with Diplo? How many you've done? Maybe how many kingdoms, I guess.
Yo, guys, what's up? For those that don't know me, I go by the name Black Panther. I do migration / Diplo in 2268. I've been playing Rise of Kingdom for way too long. I need to reevaluate my life situation here now. It's just too long. Anyway, I've played in 3 different kingdoms. I ran 1802. Where we did. There was another King, but Nugget was with me there as well. So we ran 1802. We did Diplo and stuff there. Then I went to another kingdom, 2130. There I did a little bit of like Diplo stuff as well. Then in 68 as well. So yeah, I've been around the the block.
So 3 kingdoms. How many KVKs you think?
Bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. Okay, let me ask you a question. To you,
Okay.
Bus.
Okay.
Did you hear the diss track from Kendrick where he said Drake has a kid and nobody knows about? So it's like this. Like I've played so many KVKs that I've lost track. It's like I probably got
I think I made my opinion on Drake pretty well known in Discord. Yeah. Like it's AI generated music. Put it that way.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so too many you lost count. Okay, have you have you ever gotten nervous in Diplo, or that's not your thing?
Nah, bro, I'm a social butterfly. I get along anywhere and everywhere.
Okay, and then what would you say your style is? Nugget calls it schmoozing.
I'm a talker. I'm good at talking.
Okay.
Yeah.
So people want to give you your way because they feel good while you're interacting with them.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're a manipulator. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean,
you're in sales, right?
I mean, look, Jackie. See?
Yeah.
I didn't know him. Now he's in our Discord chilling.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
It's working.
Okay. All right, and then finally we'll go to Jackie. Jackie is king of. Well, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, of course, man. So hey everyone, I'm king of 3321 right now, and I'm currently finishing up KVK 2. And I'm a newer player. It's my first time playing. So I'll be upfront about that right now. I just really enjoyed the game and just kind of picked it up. So and I just follow a lot of guides. People say like, hey dude, you sound like you know what you're doing. I absolutely don't. I just watch a lot of bus driver videos.
Oh, God.
He teaches me everything.
I have no idea what I'm doing, so you're
Oh man, it's the blind driving the blind.
Yeah.
Blind bus.
Okay. So that's a newer kingdom. So how long have you been playing, and then how many KVKs?
Okay, so if I look at my account age, I'm at 226 days. And I said this is my second KVK. We're getting ready to go into the off season for KVK 3.
Okay, so and you done Diplo for both KVK so far?
Yes, I have.
Okay, cool. All right. So we have some people with too many to count. And we have, I already forgot how many Nugget did. You said 7? And then Jackie with 2.
Yep.
All right, cool. Okay, so let's actually just get into this. Like, what actually happens, right? So, when you guys, is it different? Like, when did you guys start establishing contact? Is it usually through Discord, or are you messaging them in game? Like, how do the Diplo or the leaders of each kingdom actually get together? Like, about when does that actually happen? Anyone could jump in.
Okay. So I guess since I'm newer, not to say my experience is better. I'm newer, so it's new to me, right? So I think I'll go first. For me, both times has been in game. The kings of the other kingdoms would reach out to us in game. For KVK 1, it was kind of a wash. It was a quick game chat. It lasted about 6 hours.
Okay, and then when you say it lasted 6 hours, is it like from the first time they establish contact to when you guys decide, or is there like 6 hours of back and forth the whole time?
It was from when we first established contact, and then it ended from there.
Okay, so it's almost like a group chat in the game?
Yes,
Okay.
and it was kind of a wash. One of the kingdoms kind of flipped out on everybody, left the group chat, and kind of left everyone there like, oh, what do we do now? And it was just kind of awkward. And nothing ever came from it. And we decided a free for all. I didn't know any better. I'm brand new, right?
Okay.
The first time. So I'm like, all right, I guess it's a free for all, guys. But
All right.
be prepared for a 1v3 because we are the rising star. And Kingsland Open, lo and behold, it was a 1v3.
Okay. All right, and then you got
Uh,
like 2 billion KP in your first KVK.
yeah,
All right.
pretty much.
That's pretty crazy. All right.
And then
Alright.
KVK2, I messaged the Kings again individually.
Now,
Hey,
when do you message them? Is it once the matchmaking has been announced, or did you message them beforehand?
For this KVK, it was about 3 weeks before. So as soon as we left KVK 1, the matchmaking pop-up came up, like, and we knew like immediately
Okay.
the 6 kingdoms. We did a scan. We saw like who the highest in the A seeds were. We
Okay.
knew we were A seed.
Okay, so it happened. It happened real early. Okay.
Yes. So like 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay.
And then I started messaging the Kings. Some of them were still in KVK because we're the first in our bracket. They said, hey. Some of them said, hey, we'd love to talk. And some of them said, hey, like, message us back later. We're still fighting. I said, okay, good. So we did, waited a week, waited until their Kingsland ended, messaged them, and brought them into Discord. And then we just had a big hubbub, like, of, it's a meet and greet. And we got to know each other. And we said, hey, we're not going to pre-ally. We're not going to do anything crazy. It's just getting to know each other, feel the vibes.
But this is all like messaging, not voice, right?
Yes, this is all
Okay.
messaging.
Okay.
And then we said, hey, let's wait for the cross-season migrants that KVK2, migrants will come in, and that's when we will resume actual talks.
Okay, so
And-
kind of just reach out like early once you have an idea who you think is going to be in your KVK, just to establish some contact, and then the real Diplo actually starts when it's officially announced and you see where each kingdom is.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right, cool. Nugget Panther, is that about what happens with you guys, or is it a little bit different with older kingdoms?
I think Season of Conquest is a little bit differently. There is a Discord for Kings and for Diplo leads. You can kind of see who's signing up for the different stories. But then you're
wow.
also for Imperium level, you're like tracking who's signing up, so you know who might be going in, figuring out numbers ahead of time. Because the big thing with like being Imperium level is you really want to have a good match and also make sure that you don't have like a no match, right? So
Yeah.
There will be times that Panther actually like reaches out to other Imperiums to try and get them to register same time as us, so that we make sure like we have a decent fight. Like we're never looking to take hard fight. We're never looking to take the easy way out.
Yeah.
That's not what I meant to say. We're never looking to take the easy way out.
It's like
But-
everything I was gonna say. You ruined our kingdom's credibility.
Someone's
Sorry.
gonna
Nice
clip
going.
that and just run it over and over.
Yeah.
How's it going, buddy?
Yeah.
We're never looking to take too easy of fights. What was I? Yeah. Anyways.
All right, and now
We're
it's okay.
we're also not looking to be just the only other Imperium versus like 1093, to be honest. So you
Hey,
gotta
yeah.
set some
Stop
things up.
asking. Stop asking. You know who you are. All right. Sorry. First of all, Nugget's been doing some stuff since morning, guys. So excuse her. She did mean to say that we are here to chain, in KVKs, but in 68, especially in 68's history, if we go back from our KVK 5, most of those KVKs were pretty much set up way ahead of time. Like our KVK with 1254, where we got everybody involved into that KVK. And then the one after 1021 KVK, it was like I was kind of out of whim, but the one after. So pretty much in most scenarios, because Imperiums there's only like 24 Imperiums, right? So you kind of like, as Naga said, you know who's going in, who's not going in. Plus, most of the leadership on the Imperium bracket kind of like talk to each other. Have like a decent standing in terms of relationship, right? So like you kind of get a feel for when when you talk to them, you get an idea of when certain like kingdoms will go in, and at that point, obviously nobody does pre-ally. I don't know where the term pre-ally comes from, but anyway,
Yeah, we'll talk
we
about
all
that
try
next.
yeah. We all try to get everybody involved. And see if we can set up a big KVK. Almost every kingdom wants to have a big KVK. It's just that like after Diplo is done, there's always like some people that leave bitter, and the term I guess comes around.
Okay, so would you think it's fair to say there's more shenanigans that goes on with like early game, and then there's less with at the Imperium level? Because I seem to hear like about drama at the Imperium level too. So
There's different drama at the Imperium level.
Imperium. Okay, so let's one. Imperium is basically measuring who got the bigger size shoe, right?
Yeah, that's what you mean. Shoe.
yeah, shoot.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um,
So that's all it is, honestly. And then
Other
you have
thing
a
with-
group of
Sorry. I was just gonna say the other thing with Imperium is you have to think of your now I forgot my word now. Your brand, like
okay, yeah.
how people see you, right? Like you got to think of migration and all that. So you can't be overly toxic at that level either. You have to consider like your reputation. So there's a bit of that when you're considering how much shenanigans you can do.
Yeah, preferably you're just not toxic because you're not toxic, not because you don't want other people to think you're toxic. But I get it. Okay, so from what it sounds like, a lot of the Diplo is actually done earlier than we think, because you already kind of have an idea, right? So maybe when it's official, the groundwork has already been set up and you guys do the Diplo, but a lot of the groundwork has actually been done beforehand. Does that sound about right?
So you're always looking at for stats wise and stuff, you're always doing that ahead of time. Like there's always charts made up, but you don't really know who's gonna be in your KVK until before it gets released. So you kind of have an idea, but it also is a lot based on map location, right? So even if you have a good working relationship with a certain kingdom, if their map location doesn't really work for you, it might mean that you can't be allies because of that. So that's sometimes when people say pre-allying, it's not that you're pre-allying. It's not like you're saying, oh, we're going to be together, but you have a good relationship with that kingdom already. And then also their location makes sense to you, if that makes sense. It works with the map.
Yeah, because I'm thinking, okay, if I'm good friends with the leadership of this other kingdom, and then it makes sense where the map drops, and hey, it this matches up well. We already have a good relationship. I would like to ally. Well, I would like to be, ally with this camp, right? That's very reasonable. Is that pre-allying or what? Okay, let's actually get into this.
According to some, that is.
Okay.
According to some, that
according to you guys. So, what is, if you had to give a definition of what you think pre-allying is, and all three of you could go, just whoever wants to go first. What would you say pre-allying is?
There's no such thing as pre-allying, man. It's just stupid terms that people come out after Diplo because Diplo didn't go in their way or whatever, right? It's just terminology that you have every kingdom have fangirls, right? So all it takes.
I don't know about every kingdom.
Why only girls? They might have fanboys too.
Yeah.
Okay, listen.
Actually, Jackie's kingdom for some reason has a lot of fanboys and fangirls. It seems. I don't know why. 3321. Yeah. I don't know. I didn't realize I was talking to a big deal here.
Jackie's probably inviting them all to his Instagram. That's probably
literally all that happened, guys. I I was a fangirl. I said, guys, oh my god, bus driver is inviting me to the stream. Everyone check it out. That's literally what happened.
No,
I
no,
promise.
it's not the chat. I'm like in random comments. It's like, oh, like what about like 33-21, and then like even the OL like bets. Like the first round,
Yeah.
like you guys had more action or bets on your match than any other kingdom, which is crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I don't know. I just try to be a good person. Try to be like a an outgoing, extrovert. This person who's friendly, and I think it helps build relationship. Sometimes, according to some people who've messaged me, they're like, "You're fake. You're this absolute horrible person. Like, we know you're secretly plotting, planning." At one point, I was accused of being a hacker and hacked into the R5 of an enemy kingdom and deleted their fort. I was like, "What?"
Yo,
And
I did that. I did that.
Yeah,
31-25. I was all
Panther
me.
actually did that. God.
That was all
All
me.
right. Okay. All right. So wait, guys. So pre-align. Okay. Definition for you, Nugget or Jackie? I think Panther already went.
I think if like we were to say pre-ally was an actual term and not just people getting upset after the fact, it would be if you went into a KVK and said no matter what, we're allying together. That would technically be pre-allying.
Okay.
But and to the point where it's like not even fair the matchup.
Okay, like how in your experience, or how often does that actually happen?
I don't think there's proof of any pre-allying. I think a lot of people like we're saying, like we've been blamed for pre-allying for allying with people that we get along with. But I think when you're spending so many hours doing planning, and you're spending so many hours working together, to not choose someone you already have a relationship with, not choose someone you know that you already work well with, it's like putting yourself in a bad position. So I don't think it's pre-allying. I think people want to call it that when
so you never actually really seen it by the way you define it, but people just like to throw that term out.
Yeah, it's like everybody throws it out. Like, it's just.
I feel like I hear it like every other week.
Okay. Yeah, bro. Like, so since people started accusing us of a pre-align, bro, I listened. I pre-align everything.
Okay.
The other day, I was pre-aligning with 31-25's road, so they could take over the kingdom. Yeah, it was all.
Hey, listen. We're not talking about other kingdoms here, okay?
No message of it.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, all right, Jackie.
Sorry, guys.
Keep Panther in check.
You're good. My experience with pre-allying has been, I was on one side of it, and then I was on the other side of it, being accused of, right? So we were added to the Diplo in KVK 1 late. We were the last kingdom in, and then as we scrolled up through the chat, we're seeing like the other three kingdoms were like, hey, let's 1v3 21, or let's we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. Whoever solos like faces off 21 is gonna get wrecked. And so as soon as we got added to the chat, they're like, hey, you guys are going to ally with this kingdom specifically, and it was the other weak kingdom, the weakest kingdom. And we're like, no.
Yeah.
What is that? Like we don't get the choice. And as soon as the second strongest kingdom, they were matched, they were neck and neck with us in power. As soon as we said no, they were like, all right, peace, and just left the group chat and left us hanging. I was like, what? That was kind of my experience with the same exact kingdom again for KVK2. I knew their temperament, right? When I said that we added every other kingdom to our Discord, other than them, it was for a reason, because I knew they were going to flip out. They don't act like grown adults, and I'm not going to call them out by name because it's kind of...
I feel like getting pretty close. Okay, so how would you define pre-allying?
So pre-allying is, like you guys said, these are the teams that are set. We're going to come in and we're going to tell you what's going on. and that's what I think is pre-allying. That's what I got accused of doing, and
Okay.
that wasn't the case.
Okay,
Yeah.
I heard actually, the kingdom, my former kingdom, he told me once, like, when you're not one of the bigger kingdoms in the KVK, you don't actually have much say. It's really like the bigger players that kind of dictate like the general matchup, and then you just kind of get put to one side or the other. Is that true? Or I mean, you guys, I don't know if you guys know that. Well, Jackie, your kingdom's probably always one of the bigger ones, and then is that? I guess you guys speak to that a little bit.
So can I'm not calling anyone out, but to
Yeah.
Okay, so when we were in our KVK with 960, it was definitely the case. We were the smallest kingdom there, so we kind of just sat back and watched Diplo happen. We said like our two piece here and there, but it was definitely the bigger kingdoms that were more involved in the discussion.
And just for people that don't know, there was like 8 kingdoms, I think, and you guys were the second weakest by power.
Were the smallest.
It was a strife of 8. So there was
right.
9 kingdoms. Wait, one of the camps had 2 kingdoms, right? Yeah. Oh yeah, there was 9 kingdoms.
Okay, but you guys didn't really have much say there. It was just.
We were the second weakest camp, and there was some pretty big players on that map.
So they just kind of figure out the main opponents on 2 sides, and then everyone else just kind of gets just like filled in on either side, and then try to make it fair. Actually, when you guys came out of that Diplo, did you guys feel like it was fair? Like, was everyone happy with that? Because it looked pretty fair from the outside.
I plead the fifth.
Okay.
Yeah, I must stay out of that.
All right. I'm sorry for cutting you off though. What were you gonna say before that?
No. So like, one thing though, like, okay, so especially like those kind of KVKs, right? You're always gonna have someone like. 1 or 2 people, because like I said in the beginning of the stream, Imperium is a shoe size measuring contest, right? Who has the biggest shoe size?
Yeah.
And when you go into Diplo, it shows. Like, who's trying to swing, bring in the biggest pair of Nike, right? So
I mean, I get the reference, but then specifically, what are you referencing? Like, is it
okay? So let me get there.
Okay.
So you're gonna have people that are because of their longevity, how long they've been around. Okay. I couldn't. Yeah, but I just woke up from my nap too. I legit woke up because of this.
Yeah, I appreciate you for being here.
So. So because like some certain kingdoms been in like around the block for a very long time, they feel like, okay, we are the final sayers.
Yeah.
Regardless of how other kingdoms feel about it.
Yeah.
So that's like they just think again. So like there's something for like putting things up for vote and stuff like that, and it just doesn't like. And whenever like people say, "Oh, we're gonna do things on vote," trust people. Biggest piece of advice I can give you is pretty much the first 2 options that like the biggest kingdom in the map tells you. It's one of those 2 is gonna happen.
Okay.
It's not gonna be anything else. In most scenario, probably the first one they said that, okay, guys, look, how do you feel about XYZ versus ABC? Now, ABC is like, they're like, nah, it doesn't work.
Right.
And then, okay, so how about XYZ versus BAC? But XYZ will always be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
So.
Okay.
So, end of the day, it's just pretty much what the biggest kingdom on the map says. Regardless of what you want and what you don't want, it just doesn't work out.
Okay.
Very rarely you'll have civilized conversation.
You think rarely there's civilized conversation? Rarely?
Yeah, rarely.
Wow. Okay.
Rarely. I can give one good example. Like one of my really favorite Diplo was an RKVK with 1254.
Mm-hmm.
I remember it was Ruz, Bunny from 1254. It was 664. Like at that time, those were like there was 1834. They were like really good, high up there in terms of Imperium. We were an AC Kingdom at that time. And I remember like hopping on call. Yeah, there was like a little bit of back and forth, but end of the day, it was like a lot of maturity on that call. So
Okay.
so that's definitely something that is rare to find even nowadays.
Okay, so that's
And
actually
I even tell Ruz that
okay.
the easiest
Rose.
Diplo we ever did.
Okay, so that actually segues into the next topic, which is like the perfect Diplo for you. So ideally, this is how Diplo should be. Like who wants to go first? Like they already did their research. They agree on the couple of different variables that you could throw in there, but everyone kind of like is fair with the numbers. They kind of present their side. Like what is the actual perfect Diplo for you?
Go ahead, Jack.
Panther.
No, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. So like you said, Bus, I think it's super easy if we did the scans and we said, hey, these are like the power, these are the KP, here it is, let's match up. And the other side is like, that's it, let's go. That wasn't the case for me. We did that, we tried to do that, we spent $500 just scanning about like 3 or 4 times at the other kingdom's requests, and it was just a bust.
Wait, it's 500 $500? So wait, is it $100 something per scan?
Yeah, like we scanned the 8 kingdoms just to get like varying things, and we did it like
Jackie, you're getting ripped off.
Nugget, shut up. Look,
as a
Jackie,
kingdom,
bro, you're a good friend of ours. We want to take care of you. 475 next KVK. Hit me up. I got you.
Oh my god. Okay.
Thanks,
All right.
bro.
That's crazy. Okay.
Yeah, no, Nugget, it was fair, right? We did it through Rockboard, we did it through Fleisch. It was just the sheer amount of scannings that we had to do that cost that much money. And because the other kingdom kept tossing out our stats that we came up with. They said, oh, you can't account for activity, you can't account for like your powers, like you have way more power at the 900 level versus the 300, or
your 900th player is too strong.
yeah, right.
Okay,
How dare you? Why is your 900 player so strong?
Yeah, why do you have strong? Damn. All right. Okay. So what it sounds like, Jackie, is you prefer it where you could just have like a power KP, and then that's like kind of the basis you go off of, right?
Exactly. That's
Okay.
what we tried to do at
Okay.
first. Yes.
Okay. What about Panther or Nugget? Perfect Diplo for you guys?
Nugget, go.
I'm gonna go. Okay. So I will. That. I'm sorry, Jackie, but unfortunately, like sometimes the top 900 does matter because how many troops you have available to die and to stuff into flags is like a big deal, especially with like how we play our KVKs.
Stop giving away our secret. Okay, go on. Don't tell
Oh my gosh,
people.
like anyone in the world knows we use farms. Okay. Anyways,
Guys, we use
the other thing
farms
is-
in 68, just in case you
Yes,
didn't know.
We use farms. We use farms. The other thing is, it's sometimes like you have to know, and this is where a lot of our homework in advance goes into it. Is you have to know like what these previous kingdoms KVKs have looked like as well. Like, are they sitting on a lot of resources? Are they sitting on a lot of speed ups because they had like a very easy KVK versus another kingdom that had a hard KVK and potentially doesn't have the same resources. So I think the perfect Diplo for me is when both sides actually want to have a fair fair match. Like they both are okay having a hard match. They just want it to be as fair as possible. And I think, I mean, it's pretty rare. There's generally some kingdoms that are trying to look for like the easier win, and with Autok rewards being so big, it's kind of understandable. But definitely going into a Diplo where every kingdom just wants to have a good KVK and isn't really 100% concerned about a guaranteed win is probably
Okay, so if everyone, their main objective is to Diplo a fight that's about 50-50 first.
Yeah, like
that's-
making sure it's a fair fight, right? Making sure
Yeah.
like everyone has an enjoyable KVK.
Yeah.
That's my preference for a Diplo. Not someone like, not when you have kingdoms that are straight out looking for a guaranteed win.
Okay.
That's,
Yeah, for
Okay.
sure. No, I completely agree, Nugget. Sometimes top 900 does matter, and we did use the top 900 like they requested, and we offered them the most unfair KVK to us, to our coalition. We offered them a 3v5 that was 13 billion power at a disadvantage at the top 300, a 3.5 billion power disadvantage at the 900 level. And we don't have 900 is like stretching it. Like we don't have that many players, and they keep saying we do, and we don't. And I was like, oh god, what's going on here?
You,
like a new kingdom, you know?
I mean, how many players do we have? Damn. All right, Panther. Anything to add to that? Perfect Diplo for you?
I mean, okay, this is the biggest thing. Like this is for big kingdoms, right? Diplo is a conversation that should be stayed in a group chat, not to be shared with your family member or ROK in general. Stop sharing screenshots. That's just stupid. It's ridiculous. Whatever you agreed on in that group chat should stay on that group chat, not to be used as a propaganda when KVK once Diplo is done, and whatever the scenario it turns out to be. That's just this is petty, and yeah, just be mature. If you can't be mature, then just say when you enter Diplo, like, oh, I can't keep my I can't keep my finger away from the screenshot button and not posting it on social media.
Okay, so basically leaking Diplo, probably like doing some propaganda stuff that okay.
It gets used for almost every Imperium KVK out there, bro. It's kind of ridiculous.
Okay, but you talked about what you don't like. What's the perfect Diplo for you?
Oh, yeah, no, do that. And listen,
do the opposite of that.
Don't do that. Just don't do that.
Okay.
I'm okay. Listen, I'm willing to debate for hours. No problem.
Okay. Yeah.
Just don't do that.
Okay, as long as you're not bringing it outside of this discussion. Okay. All right. I'm like, I can't tell if that's a high bar or a low bar.
No, that is very high by what I'm asking for. Because I don't think people can, bro.
Okay. All right. Let's go on to the next one. This is starting to get a little juicy. Why do you think Diplo goes south where there's drama?
Not to get philosophical, I think it comes down to human breed almost.
The human breed.
Yo, you got German Shepherd, bro?
Wow.
Oh, he said greed.
Oh, greed. Okay.
Oh, greed. That's how I breed.
Okay,
I'm like, yo,
breed.
yo, you got German Shepherd, human breed.
All right. Okay. So greed.
Greed because. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. I think it's two things. The one is the desire to win, and two, the desire for rewards. I think that's what it comes down to. And your motive, that's like the main primal motivation, is to win and to get more for you and your kingdom. And how that is kind of projected, and how it's pushed forward as far as your behavior and your temperament, that's based on your Diplo officer, and how they want to project themselves in Diplo. Because if they think it's an unfair KVK matchup where they yeah, pretty much ego, right? Where they go, this is not fair to us, like we don't like this, or they want to stack the cards to where they can win easily, for those all-target rewards, for the star, or what have you. And it comes down to ego. At the end of the day, it's like, we want the bragging rights that we want. Now, what the means they use to get there, whether it's Diplo, or whether it's through fighting, or whether it's through, deals on the side, whatever they do, and if they don't get their way, they flip out. I think that's my personal take on it. Sorry, dominating the conversation.
Okay. Nugget, Panther?
I think it has more than just who's involved in Diplo as well. Sometimes it's a lot about the people you have in your kingdom too, right? So yeah, the greed factor, the ego factor. There's some kingdoms obviously that having the win is a way to keep the players they have already in the kingdom as well. Like they know, like if we lose too many KVKs or if we lose KVK, we might lose some of those players that we have. So I think it's also about the way that you've built your kingdom. Like there's some kingdoms that they can fight and lose and it's perfectly fine. Like you have that mentality, that player base mentality that they just want a good fight. But then you have the other side where some kingdoms are built around wanting to win and wanting to be the best, where to the part where they have to just force their will almost on Diplo to make sure that they guarantee that win, and then when they don't get it, that might be negative. But also when they do get it, the other side might feel a little bit unfair by that, right? So and then like Panther says, you know, it's a shoe measuring contest, like he said, but it's right, you know. So
I actually, so when you say that, is it more like two, let's say two big kingdoms, they just want to prove they have more say? Like when you say a shoe measuring contest, like how does that actually play out?
no, there's like a big ego thing, right? Like I have a bigger ego, so I want things to go my way because
Okay.
I feel like I'm better than you.
I'm a bigger
so
kingdom.
Therefore,
Okay.
things
Yeah.
should go my way. But as I was saying, like the kingdoms are built on winning. If they don't guarantee those wins, then the minute a loss happens, sometimes
Yeah.
like they just have a mass exodus, right?
Yeah. I mean, when
so
when your identity is winning, right? Then what do you have if
Yeah.
you don't win? Yeah. Makes sense. I'm sorry.
See,
for
when
cutting
your
you off.
identity is
Yeah.
losing, you know, see, when your identity is losing, bro, everybody joins you for no reason.
When your
Just because,
identity,
you know, they just want to say KP, bro.
when your identity is a content creator KD, that doesn't win or losses don't matter, right?
Yeah, bro, it's okay. You
All right.
know?
Yeah. You know, the content creators will still be there, hopefully.
Yeah,
All right.
shit,
Okay.
we're still making money,
Okay.
you know?
Okay. Sorry,
Yeah.
Nugget. Did you have anything else? I kind of cut you off.
No, it's okay. I was just
Okay.
I think from leadership perspective, I understand how hard it is to lose players. So I do understand how when you've put so much work into a kingdom, how hard it is when you have like a group of players that leave after a loss. But at the same time, it's all about building that mentality that we're in here for a good fight, win or loss. Like we just need to give it our all and be satisfied with the results. So we're always looking for a fair matchup, but we're willing to take a hard matchup if that's what's offered to us. Like I think we're pretty easy in Diplo.
Okay. Sounds like, I mean, in general, it sounds like you want your kingdom to be about something other than like getting a KVK win every time. So then if you do lose, right, like you have a lot more flexibility to take hard fights. Even if you do lose, it's not going to wreck your kingdom. But if you have to win, like everything is about getting the star winning, you start doing stuff that might not actually be beneficial to other kingdoms or even the bigger Rise of Kingdoms community in general, right? Because you have a whole KVK that has nothing going on. Like it's a loss for everyone when there's just no fighting.
Let me put it this way. I would rather, or even for like the people that like, if you spend and you grind and you put all the effort into getting ready for fights, and then your fights last for a couple hours, like
Yeah.
to me that's just a waste of the game. So I would rather have a long fight that ends in a loss than have a short
Yes.
over fight that ends in a win. So
I totally agree. Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
Panther, you have anything to add to that?
No, I just lost track.
Why do you think Diplo goes south or there's drama?
Oh. Okay, I mean, they pretty much said it. It's just human nature, bro. You know, people are gonna. Okay, so like it's human nature and ego. That's what happens. Honestly, that's stupid. No, the biggest thing I've always said this that Lilith introduced, like that was the biggest mistake, was giving autark for Zig,
Yeah.
right? That is the big. That I think, in my opinion, I've said this even on my streams as well when it first came out, that this is gonna be the downfall.
Yeah.
Because people who will do anything to secure autark, anything,
Yeah.
all right, and it's dumb. Whenever you start doing that, it's kind of over.
Yeah, you could actually because you can even incentivize it where it could be tied to some kind of say
Good
like
points.
KVK achievement. Yeah, right. Like I
Yeah,
mean,
good points.
you could say you're encouraging people to just like trade T1 kills or something, but you can
Yeah,
make
don't
it
change it.
you can make it where hey, if you guys
100 million kills, you get an autark. You deserve it.
hey, yeah, 100 million kills for all target.
You deserve it at that point.
Yeah, okay, cool. Let's go on to the next one. Any pet peeves you guys have personally? Like what really bothers you about okay, remember, no names, no kingdoms, just in general. Okay,
Wait,
so
that's my own kingdom. I can't say
okay.
it.
So I'll actually start. I'll give you an example. I'll start out so we don't go off the rails here. I'm a little nervous about this one. Okay, so for me, like a pet peeve for mine, it bothers me when I see people squander their potential. Right, like it's like there's so much more that someone can do, or like, and then they literally are getting in their own way, and then when the more obvious it is to me, like that really bothers me. So that's like a pet peeve. Now that's not necessarily Diplo, right? It's just like an example. So like something like that where that general. Okay, but go ahead. Anyone that wants to go first?
No, Jackie, go ahead. I'll let you go, bro. I'll let you cook. Remember, you gotta advertise your kingdom, bro. Go do this.
Yeah, thanks, guys. So for me, the biggest pet peeve that I got out of the short experiences that I've had in this game, actually, Bus actually did a video about it, and like the things that go wrong in Diplo is just people not getting their way and just complaining and trash talking. And just being generally just toxic. That's the hallmark of my KVK. I would say word of the day, word of the KVK is toxicity. I call Lost Kingdom chat Lost Toxic chat. It's just grown men who are in their mid-20s, mid-30s, behaving like 12-year-olds. And I'm just like, bro, I don't have the time to entertain this. And the more I say that it doesn't bother me because I don't even care, the more it riles them up, and they're like, oh, we know it just bugs you deep down. I was like, listen, I have a full-time job. I own like my own business. I run this leadership. I have MGEs to focus on. I have Silk Road to plan. Like I don't have time to just entertain you. But also the other thing is fight ban. People who are like, man, we didn't get our way, so we're not gonna fight. And that was the other hallmark of my KVK was just, and in a way, I almost feel like I let my kingdom down because we didn't get the chance to fight. It prevents us from seeing who our rising stars are, like our players, our best players. And it kind of feels a little bad because our guys don't get the chance to boost their KP as they want to. So like you said, everything you said, Bus, is true. It's just childish. At the end of the day, that's what it is, the childish toxicity. But it did help us in Osiris League. We did win against Itachi today, so I'm pretty happy about that. So
whoa. Okay.
Wait, hold on. That was you guys, Jack?
Yeah, we beat 32-02.
Nice, good job. Thanks. My farm got some coins.
Yeah, I don't know. My personal thoughts, again, having no experience with Diplo, like if you feel like it wasn't fair, like use that as motivation to fight even harder, Like
yeah.
But for me, going home and sitting out, it's just like not a competitive mindset to me. That's just my personal opinion. I think people get offended. Some people get offended by that, but I already made a video about it, so I'm not saying anything new. Nugget or Panther?
For me personally, bro, Mr. Know-it-alls are the worst ones. Like I go into Diplo.
Okay.
Like, there's certain individuals.
Okay.
Yo, I know everything, bro. I've been here. I walked the block. You know?
Okay. So people that just think they're better than you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, like listen, get the general consensus. See where everybody's at.
Yeah.
Know-it-alls, bro.
So
I'll legit.
going around calling other people low IQ is not cool.
Oh, that's good. I mean, it depends. I mean, if it's me, it's okay because I'm like toxic.
Okay.
It's okay.
Okay.
But like, like legit, you could ask Nugget or Nikki. We go into Diplo and I like see some shit. I'm like, all right, well, bro, this is it. It ain't working out. You know, this ain't it.
Okay.
know?
Okay. Nugget, any pet peeves? I feel like you have a couple.
I said Panther is a joke, but no, I think the whole leaking things, taking things out of context is a big pet peeve.
Sparking like
after
false
the fact.
rumors. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like it's just like it's narratives. You know, like okay, but say if you are the one that's like take a screenshot of something, right, and post it on your stream or every day, right?
Yeah.
We keep telling, like, yo, Black Panther is brown. Well, it was true. Sorry. So we'll call it. When I said Black Panther is black every day, you put a screenshot of it, right?
Yeah.
It will come to a point where people will believe that Black Panther is actually black.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
or at least they heard it. They actually, I mean, just tie it into like the real world really quick, a little bit, right? We don't want to get too deep, but like if a news outlet reports something and it's not true, right, and it smears someone's character and then they later recant it, like that smear is already out there. Like it psychologically affects how people relate to someone else, right? Even if they're like, oh, we actually take it back, it's like you already smeared someone else's reputation, right? And I think leaking and a lot of this like narrative stuff actually does that. So
really...
and you can't take it back because sorry to interrupt. Just like a retraction is not going to make as big headlines, and people aren't going to spread that news as well as the initial smear.
Yeah. Nugget. So leaking. Anything else?
Not only leaking, but like just like taking things out of context and leaking specifically. And then my other one is I had another one and then you guys started talking, so I lost my spot. My other one would be like if people are downplaying you or upplaying you. Either way, it bothers me. I like when people take things at face value.
Okay, they're realistic.
Yeah,
about like how strong or weak you are. Yeah.
Yeah, just don't go to the close. Say you have the biggest whale in the game. That means you're strongest kingdom. Don't be that person.
Oh, okay. I remember what the other one was. My other one is when people break their promise. Like if your allies are and this didn't happen in 2268, but in my old kingdom, if you're allies with someone, like be allies with them. You agreed to be allies with them. I don't like when people change allies mid KVK. I don't really.
Yeah.
I get when things go wrong, but at the same time, like that's an agreement you made at that time. For my own sake, I'd say like I wouldn't want to ever break that, even if someone is really pissing us off. Like
yeah, no, keep your word, right? Like, because even if you don't like them, whatever, like if you break your word as a kingdom, as like a leadership, there's gonna be people that know, like it negatively affects your kingdom a lot more than I think a lot of people realize. So I agree.
I think if you have allies, like vote on what the most fair end result is.
Yeah.
Maybe spin a wheel. That could be fun.
God.
But like I think like changing sides because you're not getting your way is like, to me, that's just grown people throwing a tantrum, and
yeah,
it's not. I'm not here to play with children.
Yeah, I don't think any kingdom that actually does that ends up making it anyways. Like there's no big kingdoms that do that and then survive, if they even do that at all, in my opinion.
I think it's definitely a lower seed.
Yeah, we're like a younger kingdom kind of thing.
No,
All
but there's
right.
some old kingdoms that do it, but
Oh,
lower
yeah.
seeds.
Oh,
Just,
okay. Yeah, they're more under the radar. Okay. Okay, let's talk about something positive. What about the best Diplo experience you ever had? You guys mentioned 1254. Like, what's the best experience? What happened? What made it go so well? Jackie doesn't have any. He has two. Okay.
No, I do. Just from this story, I met some great people. But I'll defer to Nugget and Panther.
For me, it was the 254 KVK, only because there was a lot of grown people there. You know, adults. Adults. When adults talk to each other, things gets really, you can actually make results happen at a very quick pace. I mean, if I'm not wrong, it took us about like hour and a half. And considering it was at that time, 1664 was like up there in terms of Imperium, 1254 being 1254, right? And then we have 1834 at that time. Again, another big Imperium at that time. So like I guess it was a lot of grown people that was on VC, right? That were able to see reasons. Like, okay, guys, we're doing this because it makes sense, or we're doing that because it makes sense, right?
Okay, so you guys actually did it on voice?
Yeah, most of our Diplo are on voice except for the last three. That's why
most of them except for the last three.
Well it never goes well when that's why like the first thing I do when like, yo guys, can we do VC please?
Yeah.
Because at that point you leave zero space for any trigger finger happy individual. We're taking things out of context, right? So and taking screenshot of things, right? So
Yeah,
people don't do that
keyboard
nowadays.
warriors. People are a little less bold when they have to actually speak and the spotlight's on them, I think.
Yeah.
What about the current KVK we're in? From what I heard, it was like they presented, hey, let's just do top versus bottom. You guys accepted, and that was it. Was that pretty good?
Yeah, that was pretty accurate.
Okay.
Yeah, but we did like do another call after like the Daybreak camp incident just to make sure like do we wanna do some adjustment. We're open to it if you guys want.
Okay, but the Diplo experience in this one seems pretty. It's like it this is probably the least toxic.
Scotty's an adult.
Yeah. Okay.
24 King is an adult.
Yeah.
And,
this.
We're just easier to talk with adults.
Even like LKC, just in general, this seems to be a pretty low toxicity KVK so far. But we haven't had fighting yet, so.
Yeah, I mean, with fighting, you're gonna get some, but like the ones that are without reason, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I got it. Okay.
Panther... Oh, sorry, guys. Panther, I like the idea that you guys got on voice and it prevents like Diplo leak. I'm gonna have to try that moving forward. What I will say, one of my experiences with Diplo, one of the struggles I had, and this was with an ally, not so much an enemy, is trying to plan coalition leadership meetings. They're Indonesian, I believe, or just like their leaders are various countries across the globe that aren't American, that don't primarily speak English. They have to use in-game translators. They can't talk in voice, and that was a struggle for us to plan things, and things get lost in translation for us. So,
right,
yeah, that's a
struggle. One thing though, like I mean, so our current leadership team, I mean, it's not as big as it used to be, but when we used to have our 3, 4, 5 alliance point, we had like different language, like different like majority language bases, right? Where somewhat form like was involved, so it was kind of easier. But we normally play with like international kingdoms almost all the times, so it got kind of easy.
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess that's something I need to do is like learn a new language, I guess.
Yeah, bro, you got this, I believe.
All right.
Rosetta Stone.
There you go. What about Jackie or Nugget? What about best Diplo experiences you guys had, or just like or an aspect of it that was like, man, this is what it should be like?
I think
Go.
our last one was pretty easy. It was a lot easier when we jumped on voice. Like it was very easy to finish it off when we all actually jumped on voice. We were talking in chat for a little bit, but then we jumped on voice and it was pretty easy to finish it off. I think beyond just the screenshotting, tone is a huge thing when you're having a conversation, and based on how people perceive you, sometimes tone is a way to like get your message across in a way that if they read it, like just read it, they might read it in a different tone, and therefore the message comes across differently than the way you meant for it to come across. So I think that's another reason why voice is so much better, because people have the ability to get their message across without a negativity automatically being added onto people's words. Where I think people, if they just right off the bat didn't take things automatically like in negative, or always thinking of it as the best rather than jumping right away to it being a toxic comment, then it might work a little bit better. But like our last KVK was pretty quick. I remember I drove home, and I think because I finished work right at reset, and I drove home, and I think we were done within an hour after reset. And that was like pretty much just getting people on Discord was probably the thing that took the longest time. But yeah, we definitely do it on Discord, so we have the option of having voice.
Okay, so it sounds like voice makes a huge difference.
I mean, for this KVK, I think as soon as we figured out that we were gonna get a match, we did get almost everybody in Discord, because we had like kind of had a feeling, because like as Nugget said, she does like a baseline idea of what those kingdoms powers or the matchmaking power may be and stuff like that, right? So like we were able to like pretty much figure out, okay, so by process of elimination, 1875 is out, right? What did they leave? Like they left 1824, who was like close to Imperium at that time, 770, who was close to Imperium, 756. So that's 4 right there. 1166 having a pretty big they had another camp with them. Another kingdom in their camp, right? So by process of elimination, you kind of get an idea of who's gonna be in your map. You just don't know what the map placement is gonna be like. So you just like you reach out to those kingdoms, like, yo, let's can we all hop everybody on, get everybody on Discord from your team, our team, everybody's team, and we'll sort it out when when the map actually
comes out. So it's already kind of set up, and then as soon as the map comes out, you guys just already have the framework there to start discussing.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, cool. Jackie, you got anything?
Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. As far as like other good Diplo experiences, hopping on voice, I think it does allow for that interconnectivity. And that's how I got to know, get close to a lot of our allies. I want to give a shout out to 3331 and 3326. Those guys, cash money. Love them. Work with them again. You guys said we can call out good kingdoms, not the bad ones.
Yeah, you call out the good ones.
Yeah, for sure. I would say the voice definitely for sure, and just getting a general vibe of like being a good person, being a selfless person, and just people who share your same world views. Like I met up with the King of 31 when I visited Florida last week.
Oh wow!
A week and a half ago. Yeah. The same night, like we hung out, we got food, we got boba, and just dude, love it. Like great dude. I would keep visiting him again if I could.
Dude is doing IRL Diplo. That's crazy.
Doing Diplo in real life. Okay.
IRL
Over dinner. Hey, just set up a dinner and then do Diplo then.
I'm just trying to wine and dine him, all right?
Yeah, we gotta up our game, bro.
Damn.
We gotta up our game.
Okay.
You gotta start bringing people to dinner. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Flavor boba. I'll pay. I got you.
All right.
But yeah, no.
Okay, go ahead.
Talk, voice, just generally being good people, and if you put your best foot forward, people will follow suit, I think.
Yeah, I think like probably seeking for it to be a win-win for all sides. Like just even having that mindset would, and then doing it in voice would probably take care of 90% of the issues that come up. Right? Instead of just thinking about your own kingdom, how do you make it where everyone can at least win from it? You know, because Lilith, I mean, they take a while to freaking do the matchmaking, right? It's like the pre-matchmaking, then they do like the by-election. Like why are they taking so long, right? I think when they put kingdoms on a map, definitely every single KVK, there's probably a way to make the Diplo really good, and it's whether the people actually do it. That's just my opinion, but all right, let's go to the next one. What's something that everyone thinks or believes that isn't true? I think we maybe mention like pre-allying. Like what are some things that people just assume or think is the case, and it's like they have no idea what's going on.
Pre-allying.
Pre-allying. Okay.
You remember on our when we went and registered, our kingdom chat was like freaking bombarded with bunch of 5,000 power accounts saying that we were pre-aligned with 1875.
Yeah.
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 Funny
Definitely.
thing though, like, cause like I was talking to Abu, right?
Yeah.
Because before when we registered, I'm like, Abu, the only way we can make it fair is that we have to fight each other, and we'll do a 3v3. Would that be okay with you? He's like, yeah, bro. Doesn't matter to me. We'll do it.
Okay.
Right. So that's the thing. People don't know what really goes on, but they just assume things because, you know, like I said, there's a bunch of Mr. Know-it-alls out there, right?
Okay, so pre-align for you. Nugget, Jackie?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of covered it ahead of time, pre-allying, and just, I honestly don't know. Other than that, I'm gonna have to stay quiet on this one because I can think of some ideas, brainstorm as you guys talk, but nothing comes to mind that hasn't been covered.
That's fine. Nugget?
I want to go back to a comment we made before about like people not fighting during KVK.
Yeah.
Because sometimes from a leadership point, it's a little hard to, if you're constantly like, obviously we get our people to fight in 2268, but like if your kingdom thinks that your matchup is unfair and doesn't think like you put work into the Diplo, like it's kind of hard to also convince them to fight, right? Like you have to consider Diplo is generally represented by a couple people, and if you are a kingdom that doesn't leak what happened in Diplo, then they basically have to take your word for it that this is the fairest matchup we could get, and hope that you have built that kingdom where people want to fight even if it's a loss. So I think there's a big misconception on how Diplo happens a lot of times from people who have never been in leadership and potentially think that it should be a lot easier than it is, depending on who you're matched up on the map with. But I don't know. I think the other thing is like Diplo doesn't end right away. Like yes, you make allies, and yes, you like make allies, enemies right at the beginning, but like every step of the way you're doing Diplo, right? Like you're still like when it comes to assigning final rewards, when it comes to like Diplo is not just a one-time thing either, right?
Okay.
Oh, someone in the comment brought up something that's interesting. I'd like to point out. High Imperium KVKs, they used to believe that Diplo is super sophisticated, mature, and well thought out. I don't know how it is at the big boy levels in SOC, but in our KVK, it definitely wasn't the case. You have people who are human, with human motivations and human reactions. They were just human. Like you can try to put your best foot forward, but people get stressed out. People are gonna flip out on each other.
I just want to add real quick. Pro, shut up, bro. Pro used to be one of the ex-kings of 68. He retired. He just trying to sound too smart. Suck my toe, bro.
So
Get out of here.
he knows.
He knows.
God.
Yeah.
All right.
For sure.
Okay, and then what about something that nobody really talks about that's important, or a part of Diplo that nobody actually really mentions or talks about that you guys would like to bring to light?
Nugget, go ahead, say something that you want, but nobody gets it done.
That's not about Diplo though. I think a lot of the work happens before Diplo actually happens. There's a lot of things that are done before the Diplo actually starts. I think that's something that's a miss sometimes, and for the kingdoms that don't come prepared, they're probably going to end up being caught off guard. And I think that's something we learned in our first Imperium kingdom, that we had to be a little bit more prepared going into the conversation. So I think it is a bit of a learning curve sometimes as well.
Okay, so for, say, like younger kingdoms, when you say prepared, is it like doing the scans beforehand? Like what would you, like what's like a quick checklist to be prepared?
So power and scans is one thing. Understanding people's troops, understanding KP, all of that's important, but also understanding like the KVKs they've done ahead of time is super important, because a kingdom might look weaker compared to you, but then you find out that they had 2 KVKs prior to you that were relatively easy. They're going to be like sitting on speed ups like crazy, and they're probably going to be able to outlast you, right? So there's a lot of different research you have to do, making an account in that kingdom, seeing what's happening. Even looking at territory of the home kingdom can suggest a lot to you about how many forts they have to drop, what their game plan might look like, what their territory looks like. So there's a lot of little things you have to look at to see potentially what allies you like, what people you might want to be allies with, versus who, if they end up being, you might not work as well with, or if they're on your enemy, potentially a weakness.
Okay, so like even understanding what happened in their previous KVK, maybe previous 2 KVKs, even taking a look at their home kingdom beforehand would make you a lot more prepared going in.
That's a nerdy territory person thing, but I definitely always look at people's territory in their home kingdom.
It says how good they are.
Show like, are they going to be good at territory? Are they going to have a lot of forts to drop? Are they?
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a lot about it.
Interesting. Okay. Anyone anything else with that?
So, I don't have an original idea of my own. I'll just add on to what Nugget said. Something that we experienced again was the fact that the other kingdom had way more KP than us and way more just older accounts with really good migration. And for us, we're like, okay, they're low power. Like we'll try to match up to the low power, and then pre-KVK kind of aligned with Zenith, and their accounts blew up. Their accounts were commiserate with the KP that they're supposed to have, and their players were, I don't know, 60 million before pre-KVK, before Zenith, or now like 90, 100 million. And it was like, you were hiding the fact that you had all those speed ups, you had all those power, and it was like, okay, so it's not, I guess maybe not hiding, but just like what Pro was saying, how being disingenuously twisting their numbers in their favor. I think that goes along with what Nugget said about territory and what forts you can drop and such. Just the unseen.
Okay, let's get to the final question. Actually, I have one. It might be a little controversial. If you guys had to rank the 3 strongest kingdoms, like fighting power, so if they were in your Diplo, how you would rank them? What would be the top 3 for you guys?
By current standard, or are you talking about
right
like
now?
all time?
Right now. Well, okay, we'll do right now and all time. You know, kind of like talking about basketball, like the GOAT, and then versus right now.
Yeah.
Are
Right
we
now,
saying actual kingdom numbers now? We're allowed
Yeah,
to
yeah,
say
yeah.
actual.
Well, yeah, we're just saying top
what
top three kingdoms.
that we were in Diplo with.
No, just all time, and then top three right now in the game. Like if they were in Diplo with you, the way you would value how strong they are on the field, you would be like, for example, like 1093. Like I think that's probably
It's
number
a
one.
no brainer to 93.
No,
Okay.
I need 7 allies against
Okay.
them.
Did you guys
Yeah.
Did you guys actually think 1093 before last KVK? Because it was just 1960 before.
Yeah, so we didn't have a chance to fight 1093. But there was a point. I was talking to one of 1093's leadership at that time, where they were interested on having us on a map, right? But considering that we came off of fighting 960 then 2429, as Nugget said, you have to look at like who did like those kingdom fight, right? In previous KVKs, so you know the amount of like drainage, like the like the player's ability to sustain, right? So all of those things gets taken into a thing, right? But and those other kingdoms that 93 did ask, I don't think they were interested. So we just decided not to make this happen, but maybe down the road we'll make it happen.
Okay.
But all time I would definitely so currently I would definitely put 1093 up there. I'll put 960 up on number 2 and 2489 on number 3.
Okay.
And in terms of all time,
All time.
1254 rank 1
And their
all the way.
prime. Okay.
Yeah, shout out to Bunny. Then let's see, 556 number 2, and then prime. Okay, let's see. I want to say 1093 number 3 on that list.
Okay. 1093.
365. It's a toss up between both.
Okay, but when they were in their prime, probably about a year and a half ago, maybe.
What? 1254 or
Well, no, like
1093?
1093 and 1365. Because they were a lot bigger before. But they were a lot bigger
but 1093
before.
is still kicking, bro.
Okay.
But yeah, 1093 was like 4 alliance at that time.
Right.
So was 365. 556 in their prime had like almost 4.5, 5 alliance. And they were massive alliances.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, that'd be kind of scary. Like you're on the field and you just see like 4 times the amount of numbers coming at you. It's just like, well, it doesn't matter what you have. What can you do against it? You know, they just get flooded.
Yeah. But tech, I'm just saying, bro. Even with 3 alliances, bro, they were kicking ass. Forget about the 4 alliance one.
I will say 1254 was one of my favorite kingdoms to fight with, and in their prime. We got lucky to be allies, so I don't think I would have wanted to fight against them.
Okay, so top 3 now and all time.
I don't know about all time.
Okay, top 3 now.
Probably gonna have to agree with Panther on top 3 now. Okay. 93 is definitely they're scary, and obviously we watched that KVK with 960, and we had just faced 960, so knowing how difficult they were, and then watching them fight 1093, like to even think about being on the same map as 1093, and like Panther said, he had a conversation with them about the potential, and did come to us, and we're like, no, bro, we need a fair fight for a little bit.
Okay, so we straight up dodged them. Right, we can agree to that.
I mean, to be fair, like we had just come off
everybody
960,
in the
and then we had just come off of like 960 and 2429. We needed a KVK where we had some fun, like a hard challenge, but at the same time like a potential for winning. So
okay, I mean that 2429 KVK, I was actually pretty close. It's not like some one-sided KVK, you know.
So I think the big difference there is we had like similar numbers to actual field marches, because of the fact that they had so many players that had 7 marches. So when you like think of actual field marches, yes, we were 2 kingdoms, but we have some players, and I know our ally had some players that didn't run 5 marches, that didn't even run 6 marches, like didn't even run 4 marches. So like actual amount of marches that were on the field for both sides actually ended up being very similar, and then they had the like better tech on top of that. So yeah, technically if you looked at it, we should have had a bit more marches on field, but I think with them, most of them being 7 marching,
ended up evening out.
It ended up being very similar, and then they had the tech advantage. Plus, well, I mean, you brought them up. I didn't bring them up, so I can go with it. Plus, I think they had 2 easier KVKs prior to meeting us, where we had just come off of 960, and most of our main players had zeroed themselves in 960 because we were like, no, we're staying in Kingsland as long as possible. We're giving up as many troops as possible. We wanted, like, we were just standing our ground.
5 of 8, there's about 50 bars, bro, and we're a chaining kingdom. So we had to stay in Kingsland so we could chain, bro.
Or barb chaining kingdom. All right. And then Jackie, I don't know if you have anything to add to this. How familiar you are with other kingdoms.
I'll be honest. I know exactly just the big names, and I I'm gonna have to follow Panther. I feel like my opinion is a little bit I'm out of my league with this question, out of my depths, because being a newer player, I don't know what the older kingdoms are as far as Imperium, like the historical Imperiums, and I never even faced 1093 or 1960. So for me to make any speculation on who I think is the best, it's hearsay. Sorry guys, that's I don't want to be disingenuous and say, I don't know.
Okay, here's a question from Pro. As a kingdom who isn't one of the biggest, strongest in the map, how can that kingdom's leader have a voice in Diplo?
Yo, he's such a brat.
But he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
We're gonna skip this question because we don't want no smoke.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, we're gonna skip.
We don't want to answer him.
We're gonna skip.
Okay, wait. I will be very diplomatic about this. I think the best thing you can do as a small kingdom when going into Diplo is present your best scenario for you as a kingdom and be honest about what your kingdom brings to the table, but then accept what actually happens. So
yeah,
I think accepting your fate is a big thing, and just go out there and fight your best. Like, to be honest, did we think we were gonna win against 960? Probably not. Did we give it our all? Yes. Did we feel hurt after that? Yes. But it was a super fun KVK because we gave it our all. People showed up, people fought, like it was a lot of fun. So I think,
I mean, and that's actually a really good example, because from the outside looking, that KVK made me want to go to 68, and I think it raised the profile of 68. And if you, whatever happened in Diplo, however you felt about it, you guys fought in Kingsland. We're not going to name other kingdom, but you guys fought very hard in Kingsland, and I think I noticed that. So I think there's something to be said about whatever the Diplo ends up being, still going out, giving it your all, and then other people will see that, because I saw it. So I'll just say that.
Man,
I think that's the best you can do as a small kingdom. Just give it your all, and I think it starts before Diplo. It starts from building your kingdom with the right migration, and that's where
mentality, losing mentality.
Panther affects us in both cases, but I will say his migration since he's taken over has been very positive. Like some of the people we've recruited have been amazing. So
I'll say this. Ethan's the one that recruited me. Panther didn't actually want me here. Ethan's the one that wanted me here.
Listen, listen. No, don't listen to Ethan, bro. He's a liar, bro. This is what he do, bro. He's a liar. He's a master manipulator, bro.
I still remember your message, bus driver. I still remember when you messaged.
Yeah, I messaged all 4 of you. I would-
Oh, okay. Listen, in my defense,
Yeah.
okay, in my defense. Okay. Obviously, I didn't know you, right?
yeah.
Like I said, what did I tell you? What do I tell everybody? Like, yo, come to our, hang out with us.
Yeah,
Let me get Bible for you, bro. I'm not trying to like. That's what the whole reason we do voice interviews, right?
Of course.
Because like, I need to get a vibe of you. Because like, I don't, bro. Listen, you could be like a gem, right? And and then like, you could be a gem, right? Or like you could be like like shining and everything, bro. And then like I pick you up, bro, and then it doesn't work out, right?
Yeah, just follow.
So
No,
what
I get it.
happens
I'm messing with you. I'm messing with you.
You know,
But Ethan, I'll always remember Ethan. No, I'm just kidding.
bro. Ethan is a liar, bro.
Ethan didn't say anything. It's just
That's why Panther took him as his migration officer, because he's a liar, just like him. No, I'm joking. But I think
Bro,
I don't know actually what
Tech
happened.
was my recruit. Tech, tell him, bro. Tech, tell them that I.
Tech was a great recruit.
Gino wasn't a BP recruit either. Interesting.
No, because
But be fair, Gino's year of recruiting,
Was me.
only 3 of them made goals out of like 50 migrations.
Jesus
Yo,
Christ.
bro.
Gino was a rare, and I think that's why when BP took over and we started doing voice interviews, it was a lot more. You were definitely a BP recruit, Farmer, but it was a lot more beneficial, because you can have people who have like amazing numbers and who look amazing, but then it's all about that mentality that we're saying. Like Panther calls it a losing mentality. I don't think it's called losing mentality, but that mentality that you're gonna give it your all no matter what situation you're put into. Like that's the mentality that we have. So that's the mentality we generally have to recruit for, because otherwise it's not gonna work with the leadership that's here if you don't have that mentality that you're willing to put everything in. Because we are a little harsh on our players. Like we have,
Listen,
an expectation that people will show up when we ping them. So,
like for example, you will get called an idiot sandwich in VC, but I want you to take it because it's said with love.
It builds character.
Yeah. If it makes you strong. Okay, let's. I'm on my way. I actually sent a question. I skipped over by accident. He goes, "Did Crystal Tech introduction make any kingdoms much stronger than prior to its introduction, or did any drop off super hard after it came out?" I don't even know when Crystal Tech was introduced. That was way before I started.
Yeah, no, Crystal Tech got introduced when we started first, right after 1802, right, Nugget? When we left 1802, that's when Crystal Tech.
No, wait. It was when we were going into KVK 3 is when it got introduced.
Yeah,
because we knew we were gonna have it in our KVK 4.
Yeah. Okay, so in terms of Crystal Tech, like I, since I like sell drugs, right, and like I gotta get my money, right, and so like I have like some a means.
What are you saying right now?
Okay. Trying to.
Okay. Yeah, let him formulate his thoughts.
Yeah.
Let him cook.
Like, I for me it doesn't matter, but you understand. I mean, look, Crystal Tech, it shouldn't be a reason for you not to like really work on your account, right? Because like we have people like Farmer, Taki, Socks, right? They don't pay for anything, right? But they still do very well in terms of like, because with the Crystal Tech, like since the Crystal Tech has been around, right? For me personally, I don't think it makes a big difference. It's just your willingness to like grind it out. Like if you're able to grind it out, then yeah, Crystal Tech shouldn't, like, it's not a big big factor for me, or like for me in general. Like as long as you're able to like work on it. If that makes sense. I'm still sleepy.
Yeah. I think it definitely makes sense, but let me elaborate on it. So Crystal Tech, we have a lot of people that have great Crystal Tech. Because they put the effort in. Like you're either spending money or you're spending time, or you're doing both in some cases, but you always are spending something in when it comes to Crystal Tech. A bigger disadvantage is the equipment change or the armament change. Like that's something where it's hard to grind that. Right? Like it's not something like Crystal Tech. There's a way for lower spenders or free to plays to get it by spending their time. Whereas there's some other advantages that are already out there. So, yes, Crystal Tech definitely can help. If there's a kingdom that has a bunch of spenders, because they already have the advantage when it comes to, like the armaments and the equipment. So that's just adding on to an advantage they already have. But at the same time, if it's just like if everyone was at the same and it came down to someone can spend on Crystal Tech and another kingdom has to grind for it, at the end you could end up being very similar places.
Yeah, I agree. If anything, I think we talked about something that nobody talks about, or you have to figure out how to stretch how many hours you could play when there's fighting, right? Like a lot of times the people that just aren't meeting goals, you're just not fighting enough. Like you can't not show up for or only show up for like an hour or two and then expect to meet goals. You have to figure out somehow to organize your life in a way where you could fight more, and like that's a big equalizer. You put in more time fighting, provided you get fighting in your kingdom, you'll do a lot better. And I don't think that gets enough emphasis. A lot of times people are focusing on commanders, Crystal Tech, all this stuff. Like, well, how many hours did you fight? If you didn't fight enough hours, yeah, you're gonna struggle just because it takes time to grind out the kills.
Well, basically, don't be a casual player. That's what
I think
I'm saying.
match your ability to your kingdom. Don't be in an Imperium if you
Just because you want some goldies, because we don't have
be
it.
in an Imperium if you can't dedicate one or the other. If you can't dedicate money to the game or you can't dedicate time to the game, because I mean, even if you dedicate money, you still have to show up and fight. You can buy all the Crystal Tech you want. You're not getting KP if you don't actually show up. But there you have to do one or the other, and choosing the kingdom that actually fits your abilities. Like there's been people that we have had to ask to leave that it was like sad. Like we like them as people, but they just didn't have the time. And we're not here for, like, as sad as it sounds, we're not here for casual players when you're Imperium level. Like we only have so many players. We have to have like all those accounts represented as much as possible on the field, right? So I think it's definitely a good point. Like how much you're able to show up, how much you're able to push, not only just fighting, but like in preparation for fighting, right? Like coming on daily and doing those forts is a big thing, right? Getting that AP regen in off season, farming in off season, like all of those extra little things. There's ways that you can be successful, and I think we have some people in our kingdom that definitely demonstrate that there's ways you can be successful without spending, but it's whether or not you're willing to put that time in as well, right?
I mean, a good example, like I guess we could talk about Taki real quick. Taki is a complete F2P. Like she still has the Mina icon on the right side of her screen.
Yeah.
She in currency as of right now, as of where I think she's like rank 2 in honor points. She's chaining with 5 marches to get the crystal that she needs. There, by doing that, she's saving an AP and she's gaining speed ups. If you're able to grind like that, then yes, you're definitely set up for. You are meant to be in an Imperium kingdom.
Taki is a whole different level of grind. I don't think I've ever seen a player grind like Taki. It's crazy.
Sox is a gem farmer, though. Sox is a gem farmer, but like same thing with Only Farmer, right? Same thing.
Only Farmer grinds. I would say Taki is another level. Like
she's the thing with Taki is she's not only grinding on her main to get the crystals.
Yeah, she's doing on her
she's doing forts on her alt to get her resources. Like she runs forts nonstop on her farms to make sure she has enough resources. It's crazy.
She chains in Home Kingdom too. Like I've never seen anything like it. It's impressive. All right. Anything we missed regarding Diplo, or anything that you felt could like add value, or just wanted to talk about? Is that Panther? What's going on?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
No, now I'm getting an echo. This is weird. Oh, okay, wait, it's gone.
Okay.
What happened? Did we get disconnected?
You were underwater, and I don't know if they could hear me, so I don't know what happened.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
Okay. Yeah. Anyways, anything you guys want to add that we didn't talk about?
Oh, I was gonna answer someone's question in your chat.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Brock asked about if he's like on a lot, but he's still not trading well. Something that we do we've recently introduced in our kingdom is like having an account review. So having people that know the pairings and the armaments and all of that, I think it's important to make sure that you're set up for success as well. So if you can be on is great, but also make sure you're set up in the best way possible. And then depending on your kingdom, sometimes running, like if you're a lower seed, sometimes running 3 marches rather than 5, it makes if you're going to be on for a long time, makes your resources and speed ups go better, like longer, and you can actually end up being more effective in the end. So I think you have to maybe just have someone review your account and help you on that fact as well. But
no, Crack is a leadership of another kingdom. I remember we did Farmer versus Fighter.
Okay.
On
Why
Plurals,
is he
yeah.
saying it?
No, because I mean, I don't know. I don't know why he's saying that. That's crazy because he
think
actually has
it's
pretty decent stats for his account, considering their situation in the kingdom. He a liar.
Okay, well, he also does territory. So this is another thing I will say as someone who does territory. When you spend a lot of time worrying about flags and your territory, sometimes what ends up happening is your marches are just out there and get annihilated because you're so focused on what's happening around you and on the flag. So I will say that there are a lot of people, a lot of different people that make up a kingdom, and some people are just gonna have less KP because like if you're spending your first hour, 2 hours building the flags and focusing pretty much a full on flags, it does reduce a bit of the time when a lot of the fighting is going on, right? So there's also
at that time, you move in with your friend, right? You ask your friend to help you build flags, or
Oh my God.
you ask your friend. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say this
That's
too,
what you do.
like Garrison players, whenever I see Garrison player, I already know they left KP on the table to actually do Garrison for the kingdom. Like that's something that probably isn't praised enough. Like you got to be pretty selfless to be a Garrison player.
Listen, bro. Listen,
yeah.
They're getting KP off of the rallies they're taking. Don't let them fool you.
No, it's not the same. It's not the same. It's not even close, dude.
Is very different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Here's
then
the rally leads.
your best set of gear, which you have to actually over specialize because it makes sense for a garrison, right? And it's going to be sitting in a garrison. I mean, sitting in a flag or something. Yeah. And like you're actually taking away from the quality of your field marches. It's if you hear it's a garrison player, whatever their KP is, like just know it could have been a lot more. That's
for sure.
Yeah.
No, that was obviously a joke. Sorry, not to.
No.
I get it because I've had to garrison like 2 flags and just 3 march when I could have like 5 marched an enemy and get the field. So I hear you for sure.
How about Panther's advice is to get a roommate and then just have them do territory for you while you actually do fighting.
Okay. This is what I'm gonna say. Panther has never built a flag in his life.
Yeah. I
have known Panther for over 3 years, and you don't want this man touching a flag anyways.
Panther's built 0.
So he doesn't really understand the importance of territory, so we'll leave it at that.
All right.
When it comes to taking Panther's suggestion with a grain of salt, but I definitely think people misunderstand the importance of having a good territory setup when you get into zones. Sometimes you have to sacrifice KP. You have to sacrifice KP for getting a proper setup And the
Yeah.
big thing is if you don't have territory, you don't have, right? You don't have a place to fight.
Yeah,
You
no,
can't
it's true.
TP in. Right?
Hey,
Doesn't matter
even-
how much TP you have.
Even Plato has built one more flag than Panther.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh.
Oh god. All right.
Me asking Plato to build his first flag during 960 KVK, that was the most hilarious thing I ever remember.
All right. I've never built a flag either. Don't ask me, please. So
On
on
my
my way, yeah, he thinks. Do y'all think the fact that rally leads can launch one troop, but garrison needs expansion always is balance, or
The
does it
newer
need to be
KVK,
fixed?
you could do one troop garrison.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I don't think it's balanced. I think it's a little unfair because now you can have a rally lead who zeroed themselves and can send a one troop rally, but a garrison needs to maintain his power. With the new update, as long as that flag is being rallied, that garrison lead can stay a garrison lead even if his entire march is dead. But that then brings
That's
up a
only
different-
for that one KVK, right?
Yeah, Invictus, yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna do that next Nugget.
Sure.
We're gonna save GG a lot of troops.
Yeah, I think rally and garrison. You just need the captain, and then you should be able to do one troop, right? Like, just make it equal on both sides. I mean, that seems fair, but I don't know. What do I know? I don't know too much about
Okay.
that.
So if you ask rally leads, they would also say that it's unfair that they're not getting KP because they're using one troop while using their best march, so that garrisons are
yeah.
actually getting better KP than them.
That's a good point.
So I think there's the thing that everyone at the end of the day really has to understand is there's different people that contribute to kingdoms in different ways, right? And for you, bus driver, who just joined us, like that's why we make our goals that people have choices on how they contribute, because people have different strengths and those strengths are all valuable to the kingdom, and just expecting to have one type of player is not going to be beneficial to the kingdom in the long run. You need to have the garrisons, you need to have the rally leads, you need to have the people who have a lot of farms who are going to be filling with stuff, you need to have the people who are willing to take deads by swarming stuff, right? So I think saying this one type of player, that's the type of player you want, is like a misconception that people have when it comes to migration. You need a lot of different styles of players to be successful in that.
Yeah, and actually, kind of adding on to what you talked about before, I've experienced like the difference between a good war lead and not a good war lead, and that makes a huge difference in the experience fighting on the field. Territories is another one, because you literally can build in a way where if someone's not doing a good job, you'll have a massive advantage just with the way you're doing territory, right? And it's like we almost never talk about that. So those are probably two things that people don't really talk about that's actually really important. That's not Diplo though.
Yeah, people also don't talk about like how good BP is. It's kind of crazy.
BP is the most useless. I'm just joking.
Oh, you guys are talking about blueprints, right? For equipment?
Yeah.
Love them.
Yeah. Blueprints are pretty good. BPs are very good.
You know what? Listen.
Yeah.
When you're doing the team, please put bus driver in your team. I don't want him.
No, he's already on your team. Sorry.
No,
It's
take
the end
him.
of the
I'm
story.
sad now. Take him.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I want to be on the I want to be fighting the 1770 side if I can.
I don't want him anymore. Take him.
I'll do
You're
whatever.
the one who already. You know what, he came to me and he's like, split up the content creators
Oh.
so that they have their review.
I'll do whatever. I'm just kidding. I'll do whatever. But if you did give me an option, I would actually rather fight the harder side.
Damn, Nugget, how does that feel? Damn.
That's fine.
No, I'll enjoy the other side. I'm not saying I'll enjoy the other side, but you know.
He doesn't want to be a beaver. That's fine. You can go be a beaver.
No. Just if I'm already on that side, I'll go on that side. I want to be a beaver. All right. Oh, Plato says, oh, that's what you guys are doing in admin. Plato doesn't
Yeah, this is
know.
the
We're making him part of leadership, right? He joined late.
yeah.
Yeah. Plato, you're part of Diplo.
The
You
day
didn't.
Plato does anything. No,
Plato,
listen,
you're
listen.
part of Diplo, dude. You didn't know?
So listen, when Plato became
Pluto wants to know at the least amount as possible. He can remain, neutral.
so like no, here's the thing. So when Pluto became like a content creator, right, bro? Like I shit you not, man. I was so happy. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna get somebody to make hype ass videos for me and my migration team. Well, he became famous, bro, and he forgot about me. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy what fame does to people,
Plato does not make migration videos.
No, like, you see some content creators out there, spamming the same videos for 30 days. Same old video, a bunch of sad faces. I kind of, I would like to have some of that too.
He does
But,
migration. He does migration passively. Like Farmer Fighter, the Plato Pod. Those are all migration. You gotta recruit people in a subtle way. They're just like, hey, I like the vibe. I want to come hang out. Right? Some people don't want to be hard. Like they don't want to be hard sold. They don't want people hitting them up in DMs and stuff. They want to think it's their idea. That's Plato's approach. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I don't know.
It's alright. It's alright. Listen, Plato's gonna drop a banger video. It's like gonna be like the Drake diss tracks, the big comeback.
Oh my gosh.
We're gonna make it happen.
All right. All right. Anyways, anyone have anything else, or is there any questions in the chat? If not, we're gonna be wrapping it up soon. Wait. What is this? What's someone saying? BP is simultaneously the most underrated and overrated player in existence.
It takes skill to be me, man.
I don't know if anyone's overrated Panther. I feel like he's underrated a lot.
Yeah, I'm just saying, man.
No. He's overrated so much.
I'm like LeBron James. You know what I mean?
No,
I don't have the ring.
But no one's saying that.
I'm not. But so you didn't know he was involved in Diplo, but there's a lot of people who seem to think that Panther single-handedly runs this kingdom by himself, and makes every decision this kingdom has.
Really? I know.
So he's definitely overrated.
Did
you think Panther was king when he came here?
No. I actually thought he did. To be honest, I thought he did less than he actually did when I first came here. I thought he was just a guy that jumped in stream, hung out, and talked a lot. And then I'm like, I had Ethan and Yara. I'm like, oh shit, he's like doing all this stuff. And then I hear like, wait, he's in Diplo. And then I actually realized Panther did a lot more than I thought he did, personally.
No, listen, bro. Listen, I'm a humble person. I don't like to brag about myself.
Oh my gosh, you're not humble.
Oh, Panther, you dropped your crown, king.
Yeah.
I will say I have been in a kingdom where Panther is king. It's
we're not
not
talking about past Nugget.
It's not something it's not something we're gonna see in 2268 if I can help it. That's all I'm gonna say.
What you mean?
Down.
Wow. Oh, it's always about shoe measuring contest. Whoever has the biggest shoe. So
Against Nugget, yeah, dude.
Wait, I don't have a shoe.
Yeah.
She wears heels, okay?
Yeah.
Don't worry, Panther. I will get you a nice black dress and some heels for our next Diplo. You can wine and dine people in person, just like Aki here.
Take after me, buddy. I'll show you the ropes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like from what I was told, actually, wait, I feel like I'm hyping Panther up. From what I was told, apparently Panther just has a way of making a lot of connections. So he actually knows a lot of people, and he makes things easier without officially doing anything. If that makes sense, that's what I was told.
I mean, listen. I don't want to.
He builds connections, and moves things.
He knows a man. He knows a guy.
And that knows a man. That's how. Remember, I'll tell you guys. You gotta sell drugs to fund your tech. That's how I do it, guys. I sell drugs to rockers.
Whoa.
Okay. And Panther is very extroverted, and it definitely helps us in that way. That he does know a lot of people. Because me and Nikki are more of the introverted So we do a lot of the grunt work, and he is definitely
Slaves.
probably the more of the face, just because that's his personality a little bit more. Right? When it comes to people outside of our kingdom, we're a little bit more introverted. So yeah, it's definitely
Panther
beneficial in
is-
that way. But he definitely hypes himself up more than anyone I know. So I don't think he's underrated by any means.
No, listen, big shoe. I got a big shoe to fill. My shoe. So like it takes a lot to
my
me.
shoe.
Panther, a 1-inch shoe is not big, okay? I don't know who lied to you, but that's all I'm gonna say.
Ask your mama. All right, I'm out, guys.
I got a big shoe to fill. All right, guys.
Oh,
Thank you
God.
for thank you for coming on. Does anyone have anything else?
I'm just gonna say this: Panther is an introvert living in an extrovert's body. That man is so
Girls,
humble.
girls.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
that's
Alright.
all I got.
All right, guys. Yeah, thank you for watching. Look for our pass to open in 3 days, May 8th. And don't worry, I'm sure you'll be able to find YouTube videos of it somewhere.
There's plenty of us.
All right.
It's not like